Running is often very meditative for me. It's often, I will go out for a run and an hour will pass, 2 hours have passed, and I've not thought of anything. It's just been completely blank, and it's very, very kind of, it's a very peaceful time for me. Sometimes I'll go out and I'll get very creative and I'll think of ideas, or I'll think of solutions to problems. It's a moment when I get time to myself, and I'm in a happy place. I'm doing what I absolutely love. And so it's easy to realize that those ideas, those solutions to problems, those come to you when you're at your happiest, when you're in a good place. When you're down on your luck, you feel down, when you kind of feel as if the world is against you, the chances are that you're not going to be thinking of your best ideas because you're not in that mindset. So putting yourself out there is great for these reasons, for those two reasons: creative thinking, problem solutions, etc. It's fantastic for that. It's a great way to get away from everything and really think to yourself and spend time on your own. And if you think about it, we'll often think as runners or cyclists that we get our best ideas when we're outside. When, something, maybe you've had an argument with your partner and you go out for a ride on the bike, or you go out for a run and you come back and you think, you just gain perspective and you kind of hold your hands up and say, you know what, I'll take blame for that. I'm not sure what happened. That wasn't me. I apologize. Because you become a better version of yourself when you get back. But in terms of the ideas and the creative thinking, it's probably because a lot of runners say this: I get my best ideas when I'm out on my own. It's because you're out on your own. It's because if you think about your life, for me, I wake up, I go out and do fitness. I'll go out and run and cycle, and therefore that's time completely alone. I don't cycle in groups anymore. I just cycle on my own. And so that's time to myself. I don't have a device in front of me. I don't have a television in the house. I don't have a television anywhere, but I don't have a computer or an iPad or a device in front of me where I'm checking the news and checking social media, I'm checking to see what's happening, posting something. None of that is happening, and therefore I'm giving myself the opportunity, and you're giving yourself the opportunity when you get that precious time in the morning or whenever it is you do your running or cycling. That's your time to be on your own. And when you're in your own thoughts, that's probably when you get your best ideas. When the times in my life where I've grown the most and I've really kind of figured out who I am, and it's an ongoing journey, we're all kind of a work in progress, but the times when I've grown most is when I've been in the Himalayas for months, when I've been cycle touring for months and months and months. That's when I've spent a lot of time on my own, to the point where it may feel it's kind of loneliness or kind of like being alone or whatever you want to describe it as. But when was the last time you spent 2 days alone or 5 days alone? It very rarely happens to us anymore that we're spending time away from other people, but also away from devices. The chances are, if you're on a bus right now watching this, or if you're on public transport, everyone's looking down at the phone. And there's an argument to say that if you went on a bus sort of 50 years ago, everybody would be reading the newspaper. There's an argument to say that. But my point is that you're just kind of consuming content. And instead of kind of thinking, okay, where am I right now in my life? What do I feel? And do I feel that I'm on the right path? And if not, what is that path that I'm actually looking for? What makes me happy? Where do I want to be, and how am I going to get there? And that's how you figure out stuff. And that's how you find solutions to your problems. And so it's not necessarily that you get your best ideas because of running, or you get your best ideas because of cycling. It's the idea that that's the only time in the modern day life that you're actually spending alone, and you're in your own thoughts. And that is, it's absolutely priceless. And you should make the best of those moments, because it's rare that we get that time alone, especially sort of as you get into your late 20s, your 30s, people start having children, you start having children, all of a sudden your time's not your own. And then those opportunities to find solutions to problems, to essentially get yourself in a meditative state, to have creative thinking, those times become, okay, maybe you're in a boardroom with a group of other people brainstorming, and maybe good ideas come then because you're thinking with other people. But you don't get that time alone, and that time alone becomes more and more precious as you get older. So yeah, it's funny, but yeah. And another thing is kind of like, I read somewhere recently that people get the best ideas when they're in a shower. How crazy is it to think that it's not because of the shower that you're getting the best ideas or your best ideas? It's because that's the only time during the day that you are alone, or most people are alone. in the shower. So in the shower for 5-10 minutes, and that's when you've got 5-10 minutes alone. And that's when people say, oh, I get my best ideas in the shower. Maybe part of that is to do because it's first thing in the morning, but to think that that's the only alone time that you get in your own thoughts during the day without kind of going out into the outside world and being bombarded with content, being bombarded with other ideas, other people's ideas from across the world, etc. Of course, you've got to keep yourself informed, and you've got to not be ignorant to the big things that are going on in the world, especially right now. But that alone time and that time in your own thoughts is very precious, and you should look after it. If you feel the same, and if you feel that you're kind of lacking in that time, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to discuss it.